everyone, and welcome to today's exercise video. My name's Liz and I'm a registered kinesiologist, and today I have Erica with me, and she is a recreational therapist. For today's class, we will have a lower body focused exercise class going. So you'll need a couple things just before we do get started. You'll always need a sturdy chair, whether you're standing behind it or you're sitting in it. Erica will demonstrate a lot of our seated or modified versions of our exercises today. And for Erica, she'll need a couple things next to her. She has a band and a ball. If you don't have a band, then you can use something like a tensor bandage or pantyhose, things like that, as long as there's some stretch and give in it. And then she also has a ball with her. So if a ball doesn't work for you or you don't have one, you can always use a pillow or something that has a little bit more of a give when you're pressing on it, okay? And I also always have my water next to me. I have a stopwatch just in case for a little bit of timing later on in the class, but you won't need that. I'll do that for you. So we'll start today with a little bit of a warm-up. I'm gonna start rolling those shoulders best I can. I'm gonna wake up my upper body and then I'll get into my lower body, spend a little bit more time there. Perfect. So we are rolling those shoulders all the way up, back and around, waking up those shoulder joints, working through maybe any kinks depending on what your days looked like so far, trying for a couple more. And last one, drop those arms down. Let's tap those shoulders and push the arms down. Perfect. So again, scoop up that air, push it away. Nicely done. We'll try for maybe two more. And last one. Excellent. We'll roll those shoulders one more time, give them a little bit of love because I'm diving right into my lower body warm up, hanging on to that chair. Let's start lifting those knees one at a time. I want to get into those hip joints, make sure that our lower body is definitely ready to go. We're gonna do a lot of marching and lower body focused cardio as well. So at any point, if you feel that you need to take a rest or slow down the pace of the movement, make sure that you always have the option to take a seat or slow down anything that we're doing. Trying for maybe a few more, lifting up those knees, and then changing this high knee march now to tap either under that chair or behind. So reach those feet all the way back. Perfect. Still in that warm-up piece, so I want to make sure I'm moving a little bit slower, more controlled, kind of gauging how my body's feeling today. Perfect. Trying for maybe a few more, just like that. And I'm gonna actually change this backward tap out to the side. So here we go, out to the side, one at a time. Maybe opening those hips a little bit more. Awesome. Trying for maybe a few more. And now I'm taking it back to my feet. So I'm gonna start tapping one foot out. So tapping those feet, getting into those ankle joints. And then whenever you're ready, you can change that toe tap to a heel tap. So lift those heels. Perfect. And then last but certainly not least, let's take that toe tap again, but side to side. Beautiful. Couple more. And then I'm moving over to the opposite side. So whenever you're ready, toe tap. We're tapping that toe, still sitting up nice and tall. I'm gonna encourage everyone to sit up nice and tall this whole class. Perfect. And now that heel tap. So whenever you're ready, lift that heel up a little bit more, getting into the ankle a little differently. And then last but certainly not least, we're taking that toe tap side to side. Perfect. Want to make sure you're always wearing comfortable clothing for exercise. Closed-toed shoes are usually best. All right, everyone, we're gonna start taking it to a center march now, diving into that cardio. So I'm gonna start to feel that my heart rate is going to climb, my effort level's gonna raise. Perfect. You might even notice that you are breathing heavier and sweating a bit as we go on here. Beautiful. So the first thing I'm gonna do in my cardio is that high knee march. So whenever you're ready, start to lift those knees a little bit higher for me. Chair is there if you need it for arm support. Perfect. Same idea if you're seated. And I have a natural arm swing that happens here with this. So if you feel that you want to get those arms moving as well, go ahead. This looks awesome. Trying for a few more, getting all those bigger muscles engaged here. And last one, moving now to a tap backwards for Erica. But for myself, I'm making that movement a little bit bigger with a hamstring curl. Perfect. That feeling here that I'm driving that heel up and back. Perfect. And Erica's adding that tap backwards and underneath that chair, just like our warm-up. But you'll notice our pace has increased. We're starting to feel a little bit more breathless. Effort level has risen since we started. So you'll notice here, I'm moving a bit bigger, a bit faster. Perfect. Still breathing, still smiling. For a few more. And then last piece of our cardio here is gonna be that tapping forward. So Erica's now changing that tap back to that tap forward movement. Perfect. So we're now pretty familiar with all of those basic movements. So what I'm gonna do now in this next round of cardio, I'm gonna start to build on what we know. Make those movements a little bit bigger, add some arms, things like that. Perfect. So the first piece I had here was that marching. So whenever you're ready, start to dive back into that center march. Get those arms moving. And already I've picked up my pace. My arms are pumping a little bit heavier. Going for that brisk walk. Good job. Get those arms moving. And the next piece was that high knee march. So whenever you're ready to add in that high knee march, make that movement a bit bigger. And I'm gonna add some arms in here and a little bit of coordination as I tap the opposite arm to leg. Perfect. If that's too much, stick with that high knee march. Good work. Making that movement as big as your body will allow. A lot of big muscles engaged here and a little bit of coordination involved as well. So if at any point I lose you, come back to that center march. Perfect. We're looking good out there for a few more. And last one. March it out, reset that body, shake it out if you need to. My next movement was that hamstring curl. So whenever you are ready, we are going to dive into either that tap underneath that chair like Erica or that hamstring curl like myself. And if you're looking to add a little bit more this round, maybe you have one arm moving or both. Whatever feels good on your body. This one is a little trickier on the balance. So if you need to hold on, feel free to pick on one arm at a time. Or if you're feeling super coordinated like Erica, you can alternate. Good work. Bending at those arms and those legs. Looking good. We only have a few left here. And my last one, march it out. Perfect. The last piece of my cardio here was that tap forward. So whenever you're ready, you can dive in. And right away, you'll notice Erica and I both added a nice big arm swing with that movement. Whatever feels natural for those arms to do, you can make this arm swing as big or as little as you need to. Perfect. Good work. We're still breathing here. Make sure if you need to grab a drink of water at any point that you do. Looks good. I think we have time for another round of cardio. So we're gonna repeat everything that just happened. And we know now exactly what those movements are. So I will leave it up to you to make those movements maybe a touch bigger this time. Or maybe this round you felt like it was an appropriate level, so you can stay exactly where you were. Starting with that center march, here we go. Right away, my pace has increased. I got my arms pumping. We're breathing heavier, but we're still smiling. We're working hard. Good work. And if this feels okay, maybe you picked up that pace just a smidge more. Perfect, that light jog on the spot. You look good. For 3, 2, 1. Take it to that high knee march. Perfect. Now you'll notice here, with that tapping of the knee, if this feels okay, you stay here. If you feel like you're ready to add maybe a bit more, make that arm movement a touch bigger. Good work. Maybe you've picked up that pace. Maybe you've made that movement bigger with me. Or maybe you thought, no, Liz, that's enough coordination for me. And you've stuck with tapping those knees out in front. Perfect. Keep breathing, we're almost there. Lots of big muscles involved with this one. Couple more. And my last one, take it now to that hamstring curl. So right away, I'm diving into that hamstring curl. Erica's tapping underneath that chair. And if you want to get those arms moving, Erica's already doing it. Maybe you got one arm or both arms going. Perfect. Now, if this feels good for you, you stay here. If you're looking for a little bit more, try traveling that march or that hamstring curl a bit backwards and a little bit forwards. Not too far, just a little bit of traveling if your space will allow for it, to add some dynamic balance in with our cardio today. Good work. Keep breathing. We are almost there. I'm gonna try coming forward and backwards. And then I'm gonna come back to my chair, everyone. That was really well done. Come back to a center march to reset your body. And then the last piece was that tapping movement. So whenever you're ready to dive into that tapping movement, start swinging those arms, tapping those feet. Perfect. And if that feels okay, you stay here. If you're looking to add a bit more, maybe you're changing that tap forward now to a kick forward. Perfect. But always knowing that there's the option to stick with that tap forward instead of that kick, whatever feels right on your body. Perfect. This one is a little bit trickier again on that balance, so know that that chair is there if you need it. Keep breathing. We are almost there. My heart rate is definitely elevated. Breathing rate is elevated. I'm even sweating a little bit, so you should be too. We look good. Couple more. And last one, march it out. Well done. I'm gonna let this march kind of carry me into my cool down now. So you'll notice right away, Erica and I have slowed down our pace of that march. We wanna bring that heart rate back down gradually. We never wanna completely stop any movement here. Keep that circulation going. Slowing down the pace of my march, maybe giving those shoulders some love, rolling them out. We hold a lot of tension up in our shoulders, so we definitely want to make sure we roll them out every once in a while, give them that reminder. Perfect. And now I'm gonna hold on to my chair. I'm gonna bring my feet a little bit wider. Same with Erica, and I'm gonna start to shift my weight side to side, slowing that movement down just enough so that we're adding some pressure onto each leg. Perfect. Taking some deep breaths in and out. It's a really great opportunity to grab that drink of water if you haven't already. Perfect. A couple more, side to side. And relax. I'm gonna take it back down to my feet or my ankles. So whenever you're ready, pick on one foot here, roll that foot back and forth, heel to toe this time. So whenever you're ready, roll that foot back and forth, get through all those smaller joints in our ankle and in our feet. Good job. And now over to the other side. So whenever you're ready, opposite foot, heel to toe. We're gonna dive into a little bit of strengthening next. So if you need that equipment, if you need to grab a seat with Erica, you are more than welcome to do that at any point. The first thing that I'm gonna have Erica grab is that band. So whenever you're ready, Erica, I'll have you grab that band and wrap it around those legs, crisscross it on top. Now, if you're going to tie it, just be careful with how tight you tie it. I wanna make sure you're able to untie it at some point. So she's gonna hold it nice and tight around her thighs there, and I'm gonna hang on with at least one hand, and I'm gonna move to the side so you can see my leg a little bit better. So for myself, I am going to start pedaling as if I'm riding an imaginary bike. Erica is gonna be picking on one leg at a time, lifting up like she's pretending to climb the stairs against that band and relaxing. So here I go, I'm gonna start pedaling that bike, and as we're doing that, I'm keeping an eye on my timer up there, and we're gonna try our best to keep going, and I'll tell you when we're gonna stop. Perfect, keep breathing. You're already halfway through. Riding that imaginary bike, standing on one leg if you're in standing with me here, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out, well done. All right, so if you need to loosen up in between on that band, Erica, to shake it out, go ahead. I'm heading over to the opposite side here. So I'm just gonna move my chair slightly this way so that you can see my other leg. And I am going to now focus on my opposite leg, same with Erica, while she lifts that knee up and back down, and I'm starting to pedal. Perfect. Not feeling like you're riding that imaginary bike. This is gonna feel tiring on the leg that's doing the work, but also the leg you're standing on. Good job. Already halfway there, everyone. Perfect. 10 seconds to go. Keep breathing. And we have our last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. That's a tough one. So take your time if you need to shake it out in between. I am now going to be moving into a lateral leg lift, so that lifting that leg out to the side. Erica's setup is going to be exactly the same as it just was. And again, she's gonna focus on one leg at a time with me. So I'm holding onto my chair, moving over to my side a little bit. I am slightly lifting that foot out to the side and back in, while Erica is focusing on driving her one knee out against that band and relaxing. Perfect. So using that band as resistance, and if you're in standing, focusing on the leg, moving out to the side just so slightly and back down. Doesn't need to be high off the ground, and you wanna make sure your upper body's nice and tall, you're not tipping over at all. Perfect. Erica's sitting up nice and tall, her back is off the back of the chair. Beautiful. Again, noticing that the work is being done on that leg that's doing the actual movement, but also the leg that you're standing on, and I have that chair for support. Well done, everyone. Keep standing up nice and tall, breathing through this exercise. For a few more on this side. If it ever gets too tiring, Changing it to a tap instead of a lift out to the side is a-okay. Last one. And relax. Shake that leg out. Perfect. And now we're heading over to the opposite side. So whenever you're ready, maybe resetting there with that band. I'm coming a little bit to this side so you can see my leg a bit better. Here we go. I'm going out to the side and back in. And Erica's pressing that leg out against the band and back. And I do like to separate that movement right and left every once in a while to really make sure I'm engaging the correct muscles there. Perfect. Standing or sitting up nice and tall. Good job. Starting to already feel that burn in the outer thigh of that working leg. Same idea if you're seated. You're gonna feel tired pretty quickly on this one. We'll try for maybe a few more options to tap out to the side if lifting is too much. And my last one, and I will relax. Shake it out, well done. Okay, Erica, you can move that band to the side for now, and I'll have her grab that ball next. And for this one, Erica's gonna make sure she's definitely at the edge of her chair, and you are going to be placing that ball underneath the leg. Beautiful. And for myself, I'm gonna go back to a movement that we had in our cardio, which is that hamstring curl. I'm gonna be hanging onto that chair with one or both arms, and I want to focus on my knees being glued together for this one. I'm going to bring that heel up and straight back and relax. While I'm doing that, Erica's focusing on tucking that foot back and squeezing that ball between the lower and upper part of her leg. Beautiful. If I were to turn to the side, you would notice my knees are glued together, and I'm simply lifting that heel up and back, that feeling like I'm driving it up towards my glutes and relaxing. Perfect. Same idea if you're seated like Erica is. You're gonna feel that right in that hamstring of that working leg. Good job. And you'll notice too, she has a light grip on that ball just to keep it in place there. Really focusing on squeezing that ball as tight as she can for our last two. And our last one. And you can shake that off, and I'll move over to the other side. So whenever you're ready, you can switch over to that other side. Erica's setting up with that ball underneath the opposite leg. I have my chair for support, and my knees are glued together. Here we go. I'm gonna start to drive that foot either back or tucking it under the chair like Erica is, really focusing on that hamstring squeezing. Slow and controlled is definitely the name of the game here. We wanna make sure we're engaging those muscles best you can. Perfect. I'm keeping that foot flexed best I can. And Erica's really trying to drive that foot back as far as her ball will allow. Perfect. Hamstrings are gonna start to feel kind of tired. Maybe noticing they feel a little heavy. For our last two. And our last one. Relax those legs, shake them out, well done. Okay, so Erica, I'm actually gonna have you keep that ball and sitting up nice and tall like you normally do with that ball between your knees. Beautiful. So for this one, we'll also wanna make sure if you're seated that your feet are nice and flat on the ground. So for this one, Erica is going to be squeezing that ball between her knees best she can and then relaxing, targeting those inner thighs. While she's doing that, I'm gonna hold on to that chair for support. I'm gonna be focusing on stepping out to the side, lunging slightly into that foot and back in. And I'm alternating from one side to the other. Only going as far as my legs will allow. You wanna make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on those knees. So you wanna make sure that you're driving your weight a little bit sideways, but also backwards, and make those inner thighs do some work to come back to that center stance. Perfect. And Erica's still sitting up nice and tall, squeezing that ball as tight as she can between those knees. Beautiful. Focusing on our breathing here, taking some nice big deep breaths in and out as we do this exercise. Targeting our inner thighs. Making sure when you bend that knee, it's not going past your toe. Perfect. We look good, and we'll try for maybe a few more on each side. Couple more good squeezes for Erica of that ball. Last one each side. And last one. Perfect. Sounds good. We'll shake it out. Shake out those legs. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna move on to some calf raises next. So whenever you're ready, Erica will be sitting up nice and tall in her chair at the edge, just so that she has enough space to come up onto those toes. For myself, I'm gonna be hanging onto that chair. So my feet are about hip distance apart, and I'm gonna use that chair for some support. This one's not for your balance. We're gonna come up onto those toes and relax back down. Perfect. So as we're doing this, we really wanna make sure we're holding it up at the top of our calf raise. And if you're noticing in seated that this isn't quite enough, Erica is gonna add a little bit of pressure on top of her thighs or her quad muscles, just enough to add some more resistance in that movement. So it's a great progression if you're seated to add that pressure on top of those knees. Perfect, couple more. And on this last one, I'm gonna challenge you. Can you hold this last one all the way up onto those toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Well done. So those calf muscles should have been burning a little bit by the end there. Shake out those legs. All right. So the next one we're going to be doing here is a little bit of work for the front of our shins. So this one is definitely no one's favorite exercise, but it's a really good one to engage those muscles on the front of your shin muscles. So I'm gonna come to the side so you can see my feet a little bit better. Erica's gonna be doing the exact same thing. So we're picking on one foot, and we are simply gonna start a nice steady toe tap. Perfect. Now with this toe tap, you're gonna start to notice right away, those muscles are engaged, they're working. So I'm gonna challenge everyone to start to pick up the pace of that toe tap. Perfect. And right away, you pick up that pace, you're gonna start to feel that burn on the front of your shin. And I do have my timer right in front of me. We're gonna try and see how many toe taps you can fit in the last 5 seconds. So here we go for our last 5 seconds, as fast as you can go. Go, go, go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Roll that foot back and forth, heel to toe. If you didn't know that you had muscles in there, you definitely do now. So shake it out, roll it out. I'm gonna switch over to the opposite foot. So these muscles are super important for lifting our toes like we're doing right now. And I know oftentimes that is the culprit of falls. So if you've ever had a fall from catching that toe on your carpet because you weren't lifting your toes up quite far enough, these are the muscles we'll definitely wanna strengthen. So already I'm starting to pick up that pace so it's nice and steady. Perfect. I know I'm guilty of it first thing in the morning, not lifting my feet up quite high enough. You wanna make sure you're lifting those toes. And these are those muscles that are in charge of that. So best you can, we're picking up that pace and we know it's coming. The last 5 seconds, I wanna see how fast you can tap that toe. Here we go, Erica, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out, roll it out. A little bit of muscle endurance to help conclude the strengthening portion of our exercise today. Well done. That's a really tough one, so we're rolling that foot out back and forth, giving it a little bit of extra love and attention. Good job. So that's a really great one for if you're sitting, maybe watching television. A very simple movement to do to help strengthen those muscles, to make sure we're lifting our toes to prevent any falls in the future. Let's dive into a bit of stretching, everyone. I'm gonna bring some circulation back to my upper body and start with a few upper body stretches. Starting with our hands together, let's open them up nice and wide. Take up as much space as you can. Beautiful. So I wanna make sure I'm stretching those arms out as far as they'll go. And wrap those arms around your back. Give yourself that pat on the back. You did an excellent job today. And we'll try that one again. Let's open up those arms nice and wide all the way as far as they'll go. And opposite arm on top. Well done. Perfect. Let's drop those arms down by your side. Roll those shoulders. Release any of that tension that you may have up there. Good job. I'm gonna now drop those arms down by my side, and I'm just gonna take my time reaching up as tall as I'll go and back down and alternate to the opposite side. We'll do that a few more times, reaching up with that opposite arm. Getting our upper body involved a little more here, switching it up. Well done. Okay, so I am gonna now bring my stance a little bit wider. Erica's gonna now push a little bit slightly on the inner thigh to apply some light pressure and stretch out that inner thigh. Now, if you're standing, you can bring that stance a little bit wider. I'm going back into that weight shift over to one side, and you should feel that stretch on the inner thigh of that straight leg. So hold it there for a little bit here. Sitting up nice and tall, you might notice that this stretch actually creeps around from your inner thigh all the way around and even into your low back a touch. Perfect. Taking some deep breaths in and out, we want to make sure that we're sending all the oxygen and nutrients back to those muscles that just work super hard for us. And then slowly take your time shifting up and over to the other side or switching and adding some pressure to that other inner thigh if you're seated like Erica. Perfect. Sitting up nice and tall with this one. Taking some deep breaths in and out. Perfect. Same principles apply here. We want to make sure we're taking some deep breaths, maybe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I usually like to hold each stretch between 15 to 20 seconds if time allows, or try for 3 to 4 nice big deep breaths in and out. Perfect. Take your time now bringing those legs back together, maybe shaking them out. For this next one, Erica is going to send one foot out in front and flexing that foot nice and tall. And I am going to do the same, digging that heel in front. If you don't feel the stretch along the back of your leg quite yet, maybe you'll add a little bit of a hinge forward if you're seated, or sitting your weight back a little bit farther into your hips. Perfect. Again, taking some deep breaths in and out here. Perfect. And on this next deep inhale and exhale, I want you to now drop that toe to the floor. Keep your foot where it is. And you'll notice that stretch transfers from the back of your leg now into that shin area. With all those toe taps, it probably feels pretty good now to stretch out the top of your shin. Perfect. Couple more seconds, maybe 2 more deep breaths in and out. And we will switch over to the other side. Take your time, maybe shake the legs out in between, starting with that heel dig in front, whether you're seated or you're standing, and maybe now sitting back into those hips or hinging slightly forward with the upper body if you're looking for that deeper stretch. Perfect. Hang on to that chair if you need to for support. Beautiful. Some good deep breaths here. Stretching at the end is always super important. We want to make sure that we're promoting that flexibility, maybe limiting how much soreness you may feel after an exercise class is always good. And now changing that to a toe on the ground. Stretch in the front of the shin is where you'll feel this. Perfect. Take your time now, sliding that foot back in to meet the other one. We're gonna march it out a little bit more here. And I'm going to take it over to my neck. I'm gonna turn my head now over to one side. Beautiful. And then I will slowly change my gaze over to the other shoulder. Releasing any of that tension in our neck area, bringing our gaze back forward. I'm gonna tilt my head over to one side here, stretching out along the side of the neck, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Maybe even falling a little bit deeper into that stretch as you breathe in and out. And then I'll slowly take that gaze up and over to the other side. Perfect. We'll take our gaze back center. For our last stretch today, I'm gonna now have Erica slide one foot underneath that chair while I move into a little bit of a lunge-like position. Perfect. So you'll notice here, Erica's really trying to drive that heel into the ground, the one that's behind, to help really deepen the stretch of that calf muscle there. Perfect. And what I'm gonna have you do next, Erica, is bring that foot out to the side of your chair and stretch that foot a little bit farther back into a lunge-like position. There we go. And I'm gonna shift that weight forward just ever so slightly to feel the stretch along that hip flexor. Feels good if you've been sitting for a while or after all that high knee marching we've done today. Perfect. Couple more deep breaths, and we will relax, bring that foot back in, heading over to the other side. So now driving that other foot backwards behind or underneath that chair, I am now extending that other foot backwards into a lunge position, stretching out that calf muscle. Erica's foot is right underneath that chair, again driving that heel downward to really deepen that stretch. And then now she's going to bring that leg to the side of her chair to really extend that leg backwards as I shift my weight forwards and lengthen into that hip flexor. Perfect. I have a feeling it's gonna happen again. Okay. Perfect. So we're gonna bring that leg slowly back in to meet the other one. And before we finish today, I always like to end all my classes with a couple deep breaths in and out. So we'll drop those arms down by our side here. We'll take a couple deep breaths all the way in, bring those arms up, and push all that air out. 2 more, deep breath in, and out. Last one, all the way in, and out. You did an excellent job today, everyone. For more information about the Windsor Essex Community Health Center, you can visit our website linked down below.